another really good pair showing here, and wish we had a few more because these two are really competitive. And the young lady here with the older heifer will be your class winner in this deal. I think one that, like we talked about in the last couple of classes, just really efficient in terms of how she does things and getting that heifer set up. Didn't really have to use the stick hardly at all, just kind of walked her into it. Even sometimes when that heifer wanted to move, just moved her up and left herself enough space to do that quickly and efficiently, and just gave some good looks at that heifer all the time. Young lady in second does a really good job as well. Really like kind of her ring presence and eye contact, and that heifer comes to us, pretty well presented and done a good job working her hair. That heifer, obviously being younger, maybe doesn't want to cooperate with her quite as well. I think on the profile, sometimes maybe struggle just to get her stopped and set up as quickly as you needed to. And then that heifer, sometimes I would watch her on the profile, she wants to stand kind of bunched up a little bit and kind of have her weight shifted awkwardly. And I think you do that and try to adjust. She just wasn't quite cooperating with you like she needed to. But I think all in all, you do a good job. Both of these young ladies do a good job. Let's give them a big hand.
Congratulations to our junior cattle exhibitors. In second place is Keaton Schultz from Jackson Empower FFA. And winning junior showmanship is Callie Elrod with Jackson County 4-H. Congratulations.
Like a lot of those things we talked about in our previous classes, one that can tell she spent a lot of time on that effort, just being able to get her walk into how she needs to be, really efficient about that. Keeps that heifer's head up, doesn't use the stick too much, doesn't really do anything distracting, waste any kind of movements, anything like that. I think just all around really solid job showing that effort. Young lady with the steer does a good job as well, like her eye contact and her ring presence. I think really aware of kind of where she's at on the move. I think just a couple times on the profile with that steer, making sure that he's parallel, with the outside of the ring. He had kind of standing at an awkward angle in kind of a bad spot, having a little bit too stretched a couple times there on the profile. But I think as far as most of the basic things, still got that down and do a really nice job. Let's give both those young ladies a hand, good pair of shots.
Congratulations to our senior exhibitors. In second place is Maddie Bentley from Jefferson High FFA, and winning senior showmanship, Emma Pack, Jackson and Power FFA. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 1 of our Angus heifers. In this class, there are 2 entries. Their birthdays are March 2025 and February 2025.
she has fairly square and powerful when you get in behind her. I think ties her pieces together better. If we wanted to get critical, I think her front end structure can maybe tweak it just a bit. Maybe gets just a little bit upright for me, and her shoulder, and just see that shoulder laid in her better, and just see her get out and reach off of that front end a little bit better. But overall, that's a really high quality, really highly presented heifer out here that really like a lot of things about. Heifer that's going to come in second, one that like her in terms of her length and neck. Really good level there in her line. She's one that maybe just gets a little bit pinched there in her forerib, doesn't quite have that extra rib and body and softness of the heifer that beats her. Maybe see her a little bit neater and laid in a little bit better there in her shoulder. But that is a nice pair of heifers.
Congratulations to our Class 1 of our Angus heifer breeds. In our placings, in second is Hallie Elrod, and winning Class 1, Keaton Schultz.
One that like her from the side in terms of just how feminine and maternal that she is, and her look and her design. Like her in terms of her structure, like her in terms of her rib and body. We can probably fix her top line. I think she wants to pinch that loin and get up in her tail head a little bit, maybe see her collect that better on the move. But I still think a really nice balance to get a complete Angus.
Congratulations to our Class 2 exhibitor, Miss Hallie Elrod. We are now getting ready for our champion Angus drive. Class 3, this is our Charolais heifer breeds, and this is a single entry.
A really nice single entry for our Charolais division. She'll also be your champion as well. I think a really good quality heifer. Really, I think like the way that she's built in the ground in terms of her foot shape and her looseness and athleticism. Tremendous amount of body and tremendous amount of power when you get in behind her. Still one that bounces up really good from the side. Let's give that young lady a hand roll. Nice single entry.
Congratulations to our champion Charolais winner, Miss Emma Patton.
Can you send me a picture? I don't know. You may not can. You got to download.
I want to remind everybody about the Stockman's quiz that's going on. We are going to close that at 10 o'clock, so if you have not had a chance to head your way over there and test your skills about our cattle industry and some of the equipment that we use in agriculture, do that. That is sponsored by our young farmer teacher, Miss Allie.
Another nice single entry young lady brings is really like the 740 profile. Good, fresh sort of front end, tucked up there at her chest. Shoulders laying really nice, has some ribbon body, good lines. If you wanted to change something about her, I think on the move, I'd like to see her use her hop a little bit better. Kind of wants to shuffle a little bit off of those back feet. Like to see her just get out and reach and kind of grab another gear. But after that, I think there's a lot of quality on the way for the profile.
Every time, end of the month.
Congratulations. This is our first class of 5% semis.
They go.
Oh, go.
But they used a couple of last night.
Another nice single entry to start out our semis. An effort that really liked from the side, just how alert and up-netted that she is, really good and clean and extended there through her front end. Has some extra squareness and power when you get in behind her, some extra foot and bone, a lot of good shape. You know, along with that, we could probably see her just a little bit neater and laying it better at the shoulder and see her blend it back into her forehead a little bit better. But that's definitely a really high quality, really stout picture, good looking effort.
Congratulations to our Class 5 exhibitor, Miss Emma Patton.
Parent effort I think that sorts out fairly comfortably in my mind. I think a really high quality effort to win the class, one that just really balanced and correct in terms of how she's built and the look that she gives you from the side, just ties her pieces together really nicely. Tremendous amount of rib and body, really good and correct in terms of her foot shape and her structure. Also like the shape and kind of structure of her teats as well at this stage of the game. Good to see that. Just a really good balance, complete high quality effort to win that class. Effort that's going to come in second, one that do like her at the ground in terms of the amount of foot and bone that she has. May even have a slight edge over that heifer that beats her. It's just maybe some other things that heifer wants to get up in her top line a little bit. Maybe doesn't quite have that extra balance and presence of the heifer that wins. Maybe give her just a shot more shape and softness there to her center body. But still a nice quality pair of heifers, especially during that class winner.
Congratulations to our Class 6 exhibitors. Placings for that class. In second is Peyton Turner, and winning Class 6 is Lakin Seagraves. We are now getting ready for our champion high percent semi-drive.
Champion high percent semi-drive, I think like in the Angus breed, I think not a ton ahead, but I think really some good quality and really competitive. Just talking about each one of these recently in their classes, I think heifers that all have some good quality to them. But I do think for champion reserve is between these two out here, but I think one that comes to the top fairly easily, this older heifer will be your champion, and we'll follow it up with that one out of the first class. But let's give both these young ladies a hand. It's really nice heifers.
Congratulations to our high percent semi exhibitors. Our champion goes to Miss Lakin Seagraves, and our reserve champion is Miss Emma Patton. Congratulations.
Another really high quality single entry in this place for one that really love her at the ground in terms of her foot shape and her ankles, really just loose and angular in terms of how she gets around the ring. Tremendous amount of rib and body, and that new way gets her stopped and profiled. She's got just a really, really nice look, really a lot of presence and attractiveness up there through that front end. Maybe gets a little bit coarser and a little more gathered than I'd like to see in those teats, but I think that's an awfully, awfully high quality heifer there.
Congratulations to our Class 7 Simmental exhibitor, and our champion Simmental goes to Hallie Elrod. Class 8, this is a single entry, and this is our commercial class. This heifer was born in November.
We're on a commercial division, another one that comes to us really well presented, put together nicely. I think an effort that appreciate her in terms of how square that she's built. Tremendous amount of rib shape, has some width and squareness there out of her hip and pins. You know, we can probably see her a little bit fresher, a little more youthful there about her head, move her front end, maybe lengthen that neck out a little bit, and gets a little bit straighter there off either end in terms of her structure, but I still think a nicely presented heifer that's really square and powerful.
Congratulations to Miss Eaton Schultz with her Class 8 commercial heifer. We are now getting ready to line up for our Grand Champion Heifer Drive, so this may take a couple of minutes, but we will get this started, and we're looking forward to seeing all these beautiful girls in the ring. Now entering the ring is our grand champion, Heifer Drive. Miss Keaton Schultz has our Angus heifer this morning. Miss Emma Patton has our Charlet. We have Miss Emma Patton, but shown by, I believe that's Hannah Turner. Oh my goodness. With key influence. And then we have Miss Lakin showing our high percent. And we have Miss Hallie showing our Simmental. And we have Miss Ryan Farmer showing our commercial for Miss Keaton.
Well, first off, let's give all these young ladies, I believe it was all young ladies in our heifer show, a big hand for, really impressive quality out here, and who knew it would be that way. It's not everywhere that it's your county show that you can say, if you were second in class, reserve or breed, got left standing to drive, anything like that, then that's nothing to hang your head about, because the quality has been really impressive. Showmanship as well on these cattle, and it's always the case when I come up here, especially to this part of Georgia. Just flat out impressive how good the kids are at such a young age of showing these cattle, and they're aware of what's going on, they know what's going on, you can tell they've been worked with, and that's a credit to a lot of your parents, 4-H agents, ag teachers, whoever else is helping them. It's definitely a group effort, and y'all have done a great job, and everybody involved is to be commended for that. With these efforts, had a lot of single entries in smaller classes, but I still think a lot of quality and a lot of things that sort out fairly logically. Won't go back through and talk each one of them individually, talked about them already, but definitely all females out here that are really high quality. I think there's several different things that you can do out here, and I know you're going to state show here in a couple of weeks when you get these things fitted up and some of them clipped. If you're trying to save hair now, things may change, and that's just kind of part of it. But I think all of these really good quality just kind of comes out down to which ones hit me the hardest today, and some small things that can obviously make a difference that may not be the case a couple of weeks from now. So with that being said, I'll set the mic down and go out and select the champion or reserve. Let's give these exhibitors all a big hand once again.
Congratulations to our grand champion heifer this morning. Goes to Miss Callie Elrod with her scimitar. And our reserve champion heifer comes out of our Charolais class breed and is exhibited by Ed Patton. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is our first inaugural dairy heifer. This heifer is exhibited by Miss Anna Hilly. She is going to be doing showmanship and her class at the same time.
Just one entry here, or dairy show. I guess I'll talk about the young lady showmanship and the heifer down at the same time. But does a really nice job out here. Obviously with this being a heifer calf, you're really having to kind of try and hold her back. She's not looking quite be as steady as you'd like for her to be. But I think they did a good job of that. Really calm and poised, like that on the profile when I was switching sides on that heifer. You make sure to get those front feet flipped, like how you need to do. So you can definitely tell that you've been working with that heifer and definitely know what's going on. I think a nice young heifer calf, one that really like her angularity, really a lot of dairy strength and character. One that I like her in terms of how she's built, her structure. So that's a really nice job for you. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Miss Anna Healy, again for being our first ever dairy cow showing in the ring. She's our champion showman and our champion little heifer. Congratulations. We are going to take a 10-minute break before we start our breeding news show.
limousine bowl, a delicious looking porterhouse steak, a bowling gun, some pokeweed, we have plenty of that in these parts, a famous Charlet bowl, Jamar Benahan 1366, a picture of a Reuben magnet, a primal cut of rib, and a semen rack. Our winners in the student division, Miss Bethany Roberts. And our adult winner, no surprise to me, Mr. Ken Bray. Thank you for everyone playing. We look forward to next year.
Reading you showmanship.
Great group of novice showmen out here to start out our sheep show. I think all these kids definitely can tell they're really competitive and really locked in and doing a great job. I guess this young man that's going to win the class, one that just really, as soon as he hit the gate, was doing a good job, and you can tell that he really meant business and knew what he was doing. Really aware of kind of where he's at and what he needs to do to get that new brace and really good and efficient about it. Really focused on what he's doing and really does a good job of maintaining some eye contact with me, and you definitely tell he's been working with that you a lot, so he does a really outstanding job. Young lady that's going to be in second does really good as well. Really like kind of her ring presence and just her eye contact and awareness. Just a couple times, maybe not quite as efficient in terms of getting that new brace and set up. And she's wanting to fight her a little bit. And I know at this age that can be kind of tough, but definitely tell you, hang in there, you're doing a really good job. I can tell you've been working and know what you're doing. Young lady that's going to be in third, one that does a really good job as well. I think she's one that really like her kind of focus and intensity out here. A couple times, especially when we got on the profile, I kind of had that you out of line, kind of in some awkward spots. And when I'm down the line looking at some of those other ones, I would tell you just kind of take that time to just readjust, do what you need to do. But I think overall, I can tell you know what you're doing. I think that you want to fight you a little bit as well. Young man that comes out next, one that does a nice job as well, really one that's nice and calm and cool and poised out here. Maybe just work on some more things as far as maintaining eye contact with me, maybe being a little more aware of what that you's doing and what you need to do to get her set up right, especially there on the profile. And then the young lady that rounds us out doing a really nice job as well. I would say just some of those same things. Just work on some more of those fundamentals as far as splitting your attention between me and that you, just working to be a little bit more efficient in terms of getting her set up and getting her brace just on those different views. But I think all those kids doing a really good job, and I would tell you to keep up the hard work.
Congratulations to our novice exhibitors. In fifth place is Chesley Bagwell from Jackson County 4-H. Fourth is Lucas Webb, Jackson County 4-H. Third, Ryan Farmer, Jackson County 4-H. Second is Mason Farmer from Jackson County 4-H. And winning novice showmanship this morning is Rhett Farmer, Jackson County 4-H. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is our junior breeding youth showmanship.
two showmen out here. I think the young lady is natural wins does just a really nice job. And I think wins this fairly comfortably in my mind. I think one that just really efficient in terms of how she does things. Really aware of where she's at, where she's going, where she needs to be. Doesn't overdo it. Doesn't overprice that thing, and doesn't do a lot of wasted movements. Just very efficient, business-like in terms of how she handles things out here. I think just does a really good job start to finish. Young lady saying you want to fight her a little bit, not want to cooperate with her. I think you do a good job of working through that. Just maybe some things as far as just slowing down the pace a little bit and working a little bit more on getting that to cooperate with you just a little bit better and being just a little bit more efficient in terms of getting her brace. But I think both y'all are doing a good job and definitely tell you working hard out here.
Congratulations to our junior exhibitors. In second place is Daria Shores from Jefferson Middle FFA. And winning junior showmanship is Berkeley Babel from East Jefferson Middle FFA. Congratulations. We are now ready for our senior reading you showmanship.
Another good competitive group of senior showmen out here. I think the young lady wins like the last class kind of does so fairly handily for me. you can definitely tell she's a really experienced showman. That ewe comes to us really good and highly presented. Just very, like we've been talking about in these last couple of classes, just very aware of kind of what that ewe needs in terms of giving me some good views over, very efficient in how she does that. Just really, as soon as she hits the gate, kind of catches your eye, has a lot of presence, commands your attention, and a good quality that she's brought us as well, and that certainly helps her, but I think she's just done a good job all around. Young lady that's going to be in second does really good as well. I think that you want to struggle with her just a little bit. I think she does a good job of working through that. I would just say maybe a couple times just be aware of having that you maybe a little bit stretched. She wants to get a little bit easy and pinch kind of in that loin. So just to kind of being a little bit more aware of that. And I think as far as just awareness of where I'm at in the ring and where you're at in the ring and give yourself the right amount of space to do things, I think you do a good job of all that. Young lady that comes out next, I think one that does a good job as far as staying cool and calm out here. I think just a couple times there, especially on the profile, just getting a little bit out of line, that you want to kind of shift the weight on you, just being a little bit more aware of that, just kind of recollecting and being able to get her looking like she needs to be, but still doing a good job out here. Young lady that comes out next, another one that I think does a good job of keeping some eye contact with me and being aware of where she's at in the ring. I think maybe when bracing that view there on the profile especially, just maybe kind of adjust your hand placement a little bit, kind of bear hugging that thing a little bit more than you should. And I think that you will kind of be more comfortable and cooperate with you a little bit better, but still I think doing a nice job. And then the young lady that rounds us out, just I would tell you, just keep working on those fundamental things as far as how we brace that view, how we get her into where she needs to be. But I think all those young ladies do a really nice job. It's good.
Congratulations to our senior exhibitors. In fifth place is Allison Potter from Jefferson High FFA. Fourth, Kendall Walker, Jefferson High FFA. Third, Isabel Eichert from Jefferson High FFA. Second goes to Bethany Roberts from Jackson and Power FFA. And winning senior showmanship, Annalie Bagwell, Jackson County, Jackson and Power FFA. Congratulations. We are now ready for our Class 1 of our Haired Sheep Division.
Nice pretty easy after the first class of our hair division. I think between the two, this young man's usually going to win. One that just has a shot more foot and bone, I think a little bit better balance, that has just a little bit more show and quality. She's one that when you get in front of her, I like her squareness of chest, I like her squareness out of her hip and hips when you get in behind her. One that just maybe balances up just a little bit better from the side, gives us a little more quality and presence. Young man's unit comes in second, one that I definitely like, just the roundness and shape there of her center body, one that's really good and trim there through her front end. She's one I'd maybe like to intensify the ground just a little bit in terms of her foot mode, see her balance up just a little bit better, give her a shot for squareness and power from behind.
Congratulations to our Class 1 of our Heritage Sheep Division. In second place is Lucas Webb, and in winning Class 1 is Red Farmer.
One entry at Ed's got a tremendous amount of turn and roundness there. Two receiver skeleton, I think when she does cooperate with him and he stops and gets her set, one that gives you an attractive look from the side, still really feminine and trim there through her front end. So a nice single entry.
Congratulations to our Class 2 exhibitor, Mr. Lucas Webb.
Pair of units that we have out here for a hair drive, I think both of these, like we talked about in the class, some good quality, good build, have a little bit of power and have some look as well. I guess for me, no, this young man's out of the first class, so she'll be your champion. We'll follow it up with a single entry out of that second class, but let's get all these exhibitors.
Congratulations to our champion pair goes to Mr. Rhett Farmer from Class 1, And our reserve champion here goes to Lucas Webb from I'm gonna try that again. Class 1, Rhett Farmer, and Class 2, Lucas Webb goes to our reserve champion. It's been a long day already, sorry guys. All right, now entering the ring is our Class 4, which is our white-faced division. This is a class and a division drive.
Three U's out here for a white-faced division. I think a U that finds a way to the top pretty comfortably. One that's really heavy structured unit. I think has a tremendous amount of shape and turn there through her center skeleton. One that's really stout featured. One that I think out of these three, in addition to that, also proportions and balances up the best, just from her chest to her flank. Really good down that top line. I think just a good quality, complete, balanced unit that's got some power. Congratulations to that young man. Between U's 2 and 3, I think this U that comes in second, one that I just prefer her in terms of her top line. I think hooks up a little bit better there in her hip going juncture. I think just balances and proportions a little bit better there from the side compared to that U that beats her. I think she wants to taper and get just a little bit flatter there at the base of her rib. But I still think compared to the one in third, one that just balances up a little bit better and ties her pieces together better. This U that's going to come in third, one that does have some length and extension, some elevation there through her front end. A U that just probably gets outpowered a little bit compared to some of these others. And then just from a balance standpoint, maybe a little bit too deep in her chest, kind of relative to her flank. Maybe like to see her tied together a little bit better in her top line. But still a nice trio to use. Let's give those young people a hand.
Congratulations to our white-face Class 4 and Division Drive. In third place is Bethany Roberts. Second and reserve champion is Ryan Farmer. And first and grand champion white-face Brett Farmer. Congratulations. We are now ready for Class 5, which is our natural, and this also is a natural division.
Really appreciate her from the side, just in terms of her length and extension. One that comes to us really fresh, really youthful, really feminine, really trim. Just balances up together nicely. Maybe not quite as stout featured, and just comes to us a little greener than some that we might have seen. But I still think a good quality ewe. Congratulations to that young lady.
Congratulations to our Class 5 Natural and our Natural Division winner, Miss Berkeley Bagwell. We are now ready for our Blackface Division in Class 6. We have a single entry.
Another single entry here for our Blackface Division. Young lady does a good job in terms of showing her. You that like her in terms of her elevation and extension there ahead of the blade. One that, when she stops and gets her brace, I think proportions fairly well. When you get her out and travel, she's one that I maybe like to relax a little bit and respond, wants to kind of roach up a little bit and be a little bit tighter there. But I still think a really good, nice quality, good profile and view for that young lady.
Congratulations to our Class 6 exhibitor, Miss Chesley Bagwell. Seven, there are 2 entries.
Here, I think young ladies that wins for me, just one that really appreciate her in terms of her stoutness of feature, her shape and dimension there through her center skeleton, has a lot of power when you get in behind her and some chest width along with that. She's one that also, I think, in this pair, I prefer the way that her shoulders laid in her, the way she transitions from her shoulder back into her forerib. Just a little bit more shape and a little bit more fuller there at the base of her rib as well. Young lady too that's going to be in second, one that I really like the amount of just shape and expression that she's got, especially up high. She's one that I think balances nice there from the side, good on her top line. I think one that maybe on her front skeleton would like to change her, maybe gets a little bit more open and prominent there. Her shoulder, neck comes a little bit lower out of that shoulder, maybe just reassemble her structurally, see her tie her shoulder back into her forerib a little bit better, but still a good pair of knees there.
Congratulations to our Class 7 exhibitors. In second place is Ryan Farmer, and winning Class 7 is Annalie Bagwell. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 8 of our black-base division.
I think top T using this class a little bit closer, but I think this unit wins one that I just prefer a little bit better in terms of her balance and just how she proportions. I think I like her extra trimness and elevation there through her front end and length and neck. From there back, I think handles her top line just a little bit better. Still, I think plenty adequate in terms of just the shape and dimension that she has when you get on either end of her. And one that I think has a good attractive set there to that hind leg. You that comes in second, one that do appreciate the amount of shape and power and stoutness of feature that she has. She's one that maybe would like to change the way that neck comes out of that shoulder, make her a little bit longer, more extended and attractive there. Maybe see her blend together there, her top line just a little bit better. But I think still a you that you appreciate some things in terms of squareness and shape. And then this unit rounds us out, one that's really long and extended, one that would just maybe like to rebalance her there in terms of her chest to her flank, give her just a shot more foot and bone and a shot more power when we get behind her.
Congratulations to our Class 8. In third place is Isabel Eckert. Second is Daria Shores, and winning Class 8 is Mason Farmer. Congratulations.
A nice trio of these that we have out here. These first two, especially, giving these young people a little bit of trouble trying to get them settled down or get a good read on them. But I think those two good views that have some quality and a target place as well. I guess this unit wins for me. One that just really like just how square and square stout featured that she is. One that's got some expression and some dimension. Appreciate that about her. She's one that, in terms of the way that her neck comes up out of her blade, I probably prefer just a little bit trimmer, a little more attractive, a little bit higher tying there. One that also I think proportions a little bit better back into a fuller flank when you compare to the one in second. Even second, one that's really wide-chested, really stout and dimensional. Really appreciate that about her. One that maybe would like to change her a little bit in terms of her neck attachment. Maybe drop that U just a little bit in her flank, see her proportion just a little bit better. Maybe wants to get just a little bit easy there in that hip point juncture. But I think it's still a really good quality. It's doing a good job showing her. One that's going to round us out, one that really smooth, really blends her pieces together nicely, really feminine. One that maybe just doesn't quite have that extra power and stoutness of feature to kind of show her presence of those two ahead of her. But still pretty good, really quality use.
Congratulations to our Class 9 exhibitors. In third place is Allison Hart. Second, Rhett Farmer. And winning Class 9, Mason Farmer. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 10 of our black-face divisions.
Most of your sorting kind of comes from the profile and the differences there. I think this unit wins just one that is a little bit better balanced and ties her pieces together better. I prefer just the way she's a little more tucked up there in her chest. She's one that handles her top line better both on the move and when she's stopped and on the profile. One that I think still like her in terms of just her roundness of rib and still has an adequate amount of chest width and power and stoutness of feature. Unit's going to come in second, one that, like her in terms of her heaviness of structure, unit's definitely got some shape and some dimension to her. It's just on the profile, I think, where she falls into second. You wants to get a little bit more jammed up there in the front end, starting to push a little bit more chest. We'd like to see her just handle her top line a little bit better, wants to kind of pinch in that loin a little bit and get a little more washed out. But I still think a good quality pair of ewes that have some nice pieces.
Congratulations to our Class 8 exhibitors. In second place is Mr. Lucas Webb, and winning Class 10, I guess I'm 8, but winning Class 10 is Kendall Walker. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is class 11 of our black face.
Really ultra stout and powerful and shapely. I still think, really still attractive there from the profile. Ties your pieces together, really feminine and fresh there through that front end. I think just a really nice quality ewe, fairly comfortable place to start in this pair. Ewe that's going to come in second, one that does have some heaviness to structure. Appreciate that about her in terms of her foot and bone. Maybe one that just gets a little bit plainer there in terms of her look and plainer in terms of her shape. Doesn't quite have some of those extra pieces and extra presence in that ewe that beats her. But still, young lady does a nice job of showing her.
Congratulations to our Class 8 exhibitor. In second place is Annalie Bagel, and in first place is Annalie Bagel. Congratulations. We are now ready for our champion blackface division drive.
Here for a blackface show, probably, well, definitely our biggest in terms of numbers, and I think the quality's been really good, especially here at the top end. I think there's one you in my mind that sorts away at the top fairly comfortably, and then it gets a little bit closer for reserve. This young lady out of that last class, she'll have her champion, and then I'll take another look and we can do reserve.
And our champion, grand champion, blackface champion goes to Miss Annalie Bagwell. And our reserve blackface champion goes to Miss Annalie Bagwell. Congratulations. It is now time for our grand champion division, or grand champion breeding ewe division. Our champion haired is shown by, hold on, let me look, Mason Farmer, and it is Rhett Farmer's animal. Our white face is shown by Rhett Farmer. Our black face champion is shown by Berkeley Bagwell, and our black face champion is shown by Annalie Bagwell. Our reserve champion breeding you goes to Rhett Farmer with his white face. Congratulations. Novice breeding doe showmanship. There are 2 entries in this class.
Got these 2 young men out here for our novice class. Both of them doing a really good job, and good to see them out here starting this young of an age. Young man up here at the front that's going to win, I think, just does a little bit better job of some of those basic things, being aware of where he's at in the ring, where that doe needs to be, how he needs to get her, how he needs to get her set up. Just has a little bit better handle on those things today, and does a really nice job. Young man's going to be second, doing good out here, working hard. Just tell you to just keep it up, keep working on some of those basic things, just as far as being aware of where you're at, kind of where you need to be, how to get that doe set up. But y'all are both off to a really good start. Let's give both of those young men a big hand.
Congratulations to our novice exhibitors. In second place is Mr. Bo Shirley, and winning novice showmanship and a big old belt buckle is Mr. Jack Shirley. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is our junior breeding doe showmanship. There are 2 entries in this class.
I think the young lady that wins does so fairly handily for me. I think she's one that can tell that she's got some good experience in both that no and just showing in general. I think does a nice job of doing some of those basic things as far as being really efficient in terms of how she gets around the ring and gets that nose set up. Just some things like more on that side-by-side view, showing me the chest view, being efficient in terms of getting her set up good and square and like how she needs to be, just does an all-around good job. The young lady that comes in second, doing good as well. I think does a nice job of, maintaining some eye contact with me and being aware of where she's at. Just a couple times, some things as far as being a little bit quicker to get that no brace and set up. When we're there on that side-by-side view, when I'm going in front of them, that would be a time to just kind of step out of the way, show me that chest view, because I can't see her back feet anyway, so don't worry about that then. Just maybe some little things like that, and just some more time with that no, to be able to work with her and get her set up like she needs to be. But still doing a good job, both those young ladies. Let's give them a hand.
Congratulations. Second place is Elise Phillips from Jeffersonville FFA, and winning junior showmanship is Jessie Mathis from Jackson Empower FFA. It is now time for our senior breeding doe showmanship.
And then take it to the phone.
Good trio of senior showmen that we have out here. I think the young lady that wins, though, one that I like a lot of things that she does a really good job, I think, of anticipating where she's going to be, what kind of looks that I'm trying to get, and is able to be really efficient in terms of getting that nose set how she needs to be for those different views. That doe cooperating with her a little better than the young man's in second. I think that helps her as well. Really like how just calm and efficient that she is in terms of how she shows. Young man that's in second does a lot of things right as well. Really liked how when we were on that side-by-side view, and you can see I'm coming around to get that front view. You didn't wait for me to get there, just went ahead and got that nose square and like how she needed to be, got out of the way, gave me a good view of that. I really appreciated that. do a good job as far as keeping eye contact with me and still splitting your attention with where you're at and where that doe is at as well. So did a nice job of that. Obviously, when we get here on the profile, that doe wanted to fight you a little bit. I think you did a good job still working through that, kind of recovering, letting her relax, making sure she was right. She's just not quite wanting to be a team player today, but you do a really nice job. And then the young lady that rounds out the class, really like her eye contact and her presence and stays really calm. Just maybe a few more of those basic things that I talked about in those front two, as far as kind of anticipating what it is that you're going to be doing and where I'm going to be at and the looks that I'm going to be looking for, and making sure that doe is set up just a little bit more efficiently. But I think all three of those kids do a good job. Let's give them a hand.
Congratulations to our senior exhibitors. Placing third is Caitlin Weiner from Jefferson High FFA. Second, Ethan Story, Jefferson High FFA. And winning senior showmanship is Haley Love, Jefferson High FFA. Congratulations. One entry in this class, and this doe weighs 59 pounds.
I think a doe that I really like in terms of just her femininity, length there through her front end. A doe that I like in terms of her build, she could probably be stoutened up, especially when you get behind her, like to see her maybe a little more rib shape and squareness, but do like her smoothness and build of that doe.
Congratulations to our Class 1 exhibitor, Miss Elise Phillips.
nice pair of those that we have in this class. I think both have a lot of good, a lot of quality. I think for me, the young man's though one that I prefer her a little bit more through her front end, just a little bit more elevated and attractive. I like the way that her shoulder and knee is laid into her a little bit better, and that's still a doe that has a tremendous amount of shape and turn there to her center body. Still fairly square and wide when you get in behind her, and I think one that, like I said, when you combine that with probably her advantage in balance is just where I prefer her. Though that comes in second, one that's probably a little bit notch heavier structured, bigger foot and bone on that doe. One that I also like her in terms of just her squareness and shape. She, from probably a profile standpoint, maybe a little bit shorter neck, a little bit more upright there in her front skeleton. Maybe change that about her, just give her a little more extension. But I think still two really good quality does. Good job to both those exhibitors.
Congratulations to our Class 2 exhibitors. Placing second is Ethan Story. Placing first is Ethan Story. Congratulations. Entries in this class. Their weights are 100 to 104 pounds.
nice class of those here, especially up at this top end. This young lady's doe that wins one though that I think just offers the best combination of having a quality build, having some shape and power, and then also being fairly attractive from the side. I like just how elevated and extended that she is there through her front end. I think her shoulder blends in nicely to her forerib. Getting behind that though, I think she has a tremendous amount of just shape and turn to her rib and really square when you get in behind her. She maybe doesn't have quite as much foot and bone as the two behind her or some others, but I still think a doe that is fairly genuine in terms of just the amount of shape and squareness and dimension that she has. Doe that comes in second, one that's really high quality as well. I think she's one that probably has the edge in terms of just foot and bone. Young lady does an outstanding job of showing her. She's another one that, like her in terms of how her shoulder blends back into her forerib. Maybe doesn't quite have that extra rib shape and dimension of that doe ahead of her. Maybe gets a little bit just thicker and shorter there through her front end. Maybe see her a little bit more extended. I think off of those front feet, she wants to toe out maybe just a little bit, maybe correct those things about her, but I still think a really high quality doe. Young man's doe that's going to come in third. One that, like we talked about, has a tremendous amount of just power and squareness and stoutness of feature. Along with that, she probably gets a little bit the shortest and kind of most jammed up there through her front end, a little more prominent there about the point of her shoulder. Maybe just like to extend her out and see her a little bit more level, but still a really, really high quality doe. Young lady's painted up doe that's going to come out next, one that's ultra stout and ultra shapely, just needs to be freshened up. She's probably a little farther along in terms of her condition. Maybe gets a little bit forward and open there at the point of her shoulder, but the doe that no doubt has a lot of power. Young man's doe that comes out next, doing a good job showing her out here, one that maybe just in terms of build we could change her. Also, when you get in behind her, wants to taper and get a little bit flatter there in terms of her rib. Young lady's doe that rounds out in class one that definitely appreciate her build, her smoothness. Just kind of runs into a tough class where she just gets out powered, maybe doesn't quite have the extra look and presence of the does ahead of her.
Congratulations to our Class 3 exhibitors. In 6th place is Caitlin Weimer. 5th, Jack Shirley. 4th, Ethan Story. 3rd, Ethan Story. 2nd, Jesse Mathis. And winning Class 3, Haley Love. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 4. These goats weigh 115 and 116. There are 3 entries.
The date is 7.
Has a lot of foot and bone, has a lot of shape and squareness, and I also think in terms of her skeleton, she's one that I really like. Really like her in terms of the angle to her knee, really attractive set there to her hind leg. One that's really powerful, and I still think combines that with some good, with a good quality build. Though that's going to come in second, one that really like her as well in terms of her chest width, in terms of her shape, in terms of her rib. Young lady does a really good job showing her. She's one that I still think probably not quite as extreme in terms of her stoutness of feature that one ahead of her, but I still think plenty adequate. She's one that maybe just gets a little bit straighter there through that shoulder, not quite as relaxed in her knee, maybe wants to toe out a little bit there up front, but still a really good quality doe that's got some good pieces. Young man's doe that comes in third, one that also has some extra foot and bone that she offers. I think one that maybe we'd like to see her match that when you get on either end of her with just a little bit more shape and dimension and squareness. Though wants to get a little bit flatter there in the rib and a little bit narrower from behind. But three really good quality does, and all three of them well exhibited.
Congratulations to our Class 4 exhibitors. In third place is Mr. Jack Shirley. Second, Jesse Mathis. And winning Class 4, Haley Love. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is our final class of our breeding does, and with one entry. This doe weighs 124 pounds.
Really good quality single entry doe that we have here, one that's really like just how attractive and feminine that she is, really long neck, like the way that it comes up out of the shoulder. Appreciate this doe in terms of her build and rib shape as well. Just a good quality single entry that young lady brings us.
Congratulations to our Class 5 exhibitor, Miss Jessie Mathis. We are now lining up for our Grand Champion Breeding Doe Drive.